It's high moon, everybody. Yeah, the moon's out, it's damn near full, and we got ourselves a situation outside the premium oil wells. Hey there, everyone, and welcome to. This isn't really Dark Hours, is it?
Technically, it would be, but this is old world, not old world of darkness.
Yeah, this
This is
changes the
where
metrics a bit.
as I try, I'm Imsit, and it's Werewolf the Wild West.
Yeah, Werewolf the Wild West. It's not spelled with a Y. We're going over one of the. Not the V20 one, we're going over the older one.
Because it made sense when we're talking about werewolf to include the Wild West.
Wild Wild Wiki Wild West. I mean, think about it like this. There's the Weaver in the World of Darkness, and the hit movie with Will Smith included a giant mechanical spider on producer insistence.
Ah, correct. Actually, no, the image that they give in the book actually does give a good.
Yeah, it's actually really fucking fitting. So let's show off the book. We do have those. By the way, my name is Adam. We didn't properly introduce ourselves for those who are new. And my co-host here is Imp, or
Hi,
Impsit.
Stormtrooper.
So here we go. The cover for the book is not exactly the most inspiring. It is a little. Actually, I can't even compliment it over the Dharma books. At least those told you stuff. So, not inspiring. It gives you a vague idea on what we're going with.
The next image, though, gives us an even better one.
You know, when you open up with a tornado, well, first off, it's a 2-page spread of the United States, but when you open up with a tornado, that just feels Wild West because I just at any point am envisioning a gunslinger getting sucked up into it like an event from The Wizard of Oz.
But we see also the symbols of the various tribes, and then
Yes, you
if we
do.
look towards the eastern part of the United States, you notice a spider.
That's the Weaver. And for whatever reason, the Weaver is situated in Philadelphia, which I wouldn't really rate this as the city of brotherly love. I also like how, hey, Chicago gets mentioned by one of the tribes. I don't recognize the
Hey,
scribbles by heart. Unfortunately, we're not the Galliard group. We don't know this stuff by heart,
no.
but it's one of the tribes. So,
It
welcome to.
advertises at
Mhm.
it advertises as a storytelling game of historical horror.
Okay,
Oh boy, so we're gonna be getting disease.
this could go badly. We'll see.
Well,
Also, we're about to reveal that, yeah, we found this in the dumpster. Thank you for Tensphere. It was just kind of a pain to get a copy.
yep,
Sorry.
it's a 29-year-old book.
On top of that, this copy is actually one of the first. Funnily enough, this is actually one of the first materials I got when I was running World of Darkness shit. For whatever reason, despite hating Werewolf, my largest collection of books were always werewolf related.
I think that's telling you something.
Maybe it's like that internal racism where you need to know what the ethnicity or what the group is like so that you can be more accurate with your bigotry.
But we do have to say the designers, Justin Achilli, Ethan Skemp.
So this is a book that it'll be fascinating because Justin Achilli is responsible for Werewolf the Forsaken. He is also the disastrous mind behind Werewolf 5th Edition.
Well, don't worry, we also have Phil Briccato, Richard Dansky, Robert Hatch.
Oh no, Phil Bricato. I don't want to know what Phil Bricato will do with. Oh god, Nez Perce. No, Sacagawea as a busty cat lady. That's what he's gonna do. That's my
Oh no,
prediction.
we do have a dedication to Chief Joseph the Nez Pierce.
Well, the reason why is specifically that White Wolf back in the day, and this is actually really funny compared to 5th edition, they spoke with First Nations tribes, like the actual tribal elders and nation councils. If you're curious, the Uktena and Wendigo both actually got relative okays from the tribes at the time. So what happens with Karim Muammar gets really funny when you think about it in that perspective.
Yeah. But because this is also the Wild West, we do have to talk about the murder of indigenous peoples on the quest to colonize further lands.
Oh, actually, they don't really talk about the Trail of Tears.
Well, that Trail of Tears doesn't happen at this point, but no,
No,
this
it
if we're
does.
talking
It happened. It happened before then. In the setting area, it happens.
Is this supposed to be late 1800s?
We'll find out, but they no, it is. It's the 1870s. So the Trail of Tears did happen, and actually the
Yeah.
Indian Wars are going on at this time. It's one of the weirder decisions because I did a little bit of reading into this earlier. The book has a really it kind of hits that Dances with Wolves philosophy, and it kind of has elements of that. Oh, the native tribes were so good by comparison. There was no taint whatsoever. Tell that to the fucking Aztecs, asshole. Also, the Weaver was never here. Well, we'll get into it. I have
Well, that I
issues
mean
with
that.
this book.
Well, that is
I have
very much.
issues with this book.
If you view technology and that, the Weaver is essentially then a metaphor for Western civilization.
Oh, fuck that, man. No, it's supposed to represent organization and stratification. If you're gonna shit on if you want to return to Wolf and purge all the humans like the Red Talons do, at the very least, you're gonna have to destroy shit like Teotihuacan. Because remember, there was Cahokia, but then there's also Teotihuacan, which at one point was the largest city on Earth, even larger than many Chinese cities.
Oh.
Yeah, so the Weaver not being here is a load of horseshit. Also, keep in mind the Incan Empire, Tawantinsuyu, had an organized bureaucracy and actually kept meticulous notes on stockpiles because they controlled their empire through their food. The Weaver is here. In fact, literally, the Kipus are woven threads to denote items. So this is bullshit, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it. I'm kind of I'm putting the horse before the cart, which
Yeah, they do a bunch of stories initially to get us into the mood of the setting.
oh, I just realized that they have a cute little gimmick where there's a bullet hole in it. I didn't realize that was the gimmick for this book.
It looks like a hole punch.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I mean, I actually would really like if the hole gets smaller to indicate that the bullet was getting stopped by the pages. And as for if you're wondering why we'll get into it, but specifically, this is another reason that the Wild West was selected, is we're going to see Pentex in its infancy. But we have to get through all these stories because these are all these stories of different characters that are going to be involved in this book. You got the lawman, you got the soldier, you got card sharps. Look at all this shit. And don't get me
I like
wrong,
I
this is
like when our
fascinating, but this is
yeah,
annoying.
comments from NDR. Adam's character be like Werewolf Lore 5 specialty racism.
Oh yeah, I would get 10. I would be able to crack tens again on those.
And apparently, NDR makes if the Weaver wasn't in the continent, the place would be the fucking dreaming.
Yes, and NDR is right specifically because there's this setting called Exalted. So there's this setting called Exalted where I don't think the Weaver is one for one translated, but the further you get from the lodestone of reality, the more it becomes suggestion rather than fact. This was actually one of the reasons why the gauntlet exists. Because without the Weaver, the wild kind of goes out of control and things just kind of appear without any reason or logic. But here we go. We finally, after going through about 20 or so pages, they really start getting into the material. Oh, my brothers and sisters, my children and grandchildren, listen to me. I have walked in strange places in my dream, and I have seen terrible things. I have met with powerful spirits who have shown me horrible visions of tomorrow and of seasons not yet born. I sing of a time when the Weaver will threaten to bind all the people and all the land in her webs. She is coming. So, this is an interesting take where they're more scared of the Weaver than the Worm. I sing of a time when the Worm will once again drag its stinking coils across the lands we know as the Pure. Um, yeah, you know the Aztec Empire that was founded by the Bali and the nexus of hell that's underneath Mexico City? Are you really fucking telling me that the Worm doesn't exist in the New World? Oh, you see, the Native Americans were so capable of harvest. They murdered their horses. Did you know horses actually come from the Americas? They murdered their horses. They exterminated the motherfuckers. They're gone. Same with camels, actually. Camels also came from the Americas. They're gone too. So don't fucking get on me about humanity not being like humanity of even Stone Age societies can geoengineer shit. Case in point, look at the fucking Nazca lines. I fucking hate this mentality. Mm. So anyway, Ooga Booga, Worm bad, Weaver worse, you're gonna be chained, cry. I think that covers that initial story. Let's start with the Savage West, which
in
actually
which
has some lovely art. Sorry.
yeah, it's first kind of starting off with playing a role-playing game. It's basically the storyteller system.
I also will say I very much love the choice of making the borders of these books look like woodcuts. The bullet hole is starting to become uninteresting as an element, but
hmm
it's neat.
like they're telling us also here, like, what does a werewolf do? What's a character?
Oh,
What's
yes.
darkness in the West?
If you're curious, this is because this is supposed to kind of serve much like in Vampire the Dark Ages, and there is a werewolf Dark Age setting. This is supposed to be the core rule book of an era, and it allows you to be able to play a character. Like this is a book that you can get by itself, and it would allow you to play, which might have been one of the many reasons White Wolf went out of business. Because on the one hand, yeah, it's excellent that you have a you have a setting, but you're essentially repeating material. You're making a larger book, which is more expensive. And on top of that, yeah, people can pick this up and play with it, but
It's a niche.
yeah, if you're already a storyteller, you're gonna have Werewolf the Apocalypse.
The other thing is that I'm looking at the common jargon.
Okay, the
I
common
would have
the lexicon, sure.
I would have actually put in slang from the time period
Oh yeah. The reason
because
they
we're
don't
just
is specifically because these are terms that are very important for werewolves for the Guru. Some of these are new to the setting, but most of these are not. Like Apocalypse, Apocalypse, Auspice, Cairn, the different forms of the Guru. All of these are things.
oh get to page 33.
Oh
That
boy.
starts the I don't know what to call it, but
The
just the
slang is not very great.
simpage. Manifest destiny becomes the cry as an onward rush of civilization brings cities, railroads, and armies in its wake. The longtime inhabitants of the lands west of the Mississippi watch this migration of pale-skinned strangers with curiosity at first, but find themselves driven from their best hunting grounds and fertile fields. Their anger and outrage grows, ultimately sparking a series of battles they cannot win against foes who are too numerous, too alarmed, and who don't play by the natives' civilized rules.
The Comanche actually committed arson and scorched earth tactics. They would kidnap and murder people and hand back their fucking corpse with their scalps removed.
This was once the Pure Lands. Back before any Europeans set foot on the Americas, the protectors of Gaia triumphed over the worm, binding its minions with a web of power anchored by the might of their Karens. The Croatoan, Utanka, and Wendigo tribes held the webs taut while exercising minimal interference with the people and the creatures under their watchful eye.
Yeah, so here's a fun fact. Did you know that the North American continent experienced a micro apocalypse before the Europeans showed up?
How so?
Cahokia collapsed about 100 years before Columbus came.
Well, yeah, obviously. Civilization.
The Aztecs were also just forming out of the collapse of several Mesoamerican societies, and not even 200 years prior, Tawantinsuyu formed in the aftermath of the Aymara Empire kingdoms falling apart, to the point where that kingdom actually mastered basic bronze wielding, and the knowledge was lost. Which leads to my amazing conspiracy. I believe I brought it up in. We collaborate occasionally with Galliard Group, but I've brought up the conspiracy that werewolves in the Pure Lands actually ran a proper Impergium dictatorial death state, where if advances got too hard, they would fucking purge them by absolutely abolishing and demolishing their ability to run agriculture.
You know, that would be an interesting way to do your to do the guns, germs, and steel theory.
In reality, one of the major factors in why the Native American societies struggled is they lacked beasts of burden in a way that could actually be used in the way that we could. Again, I'm making jokes about them hunting the horses to extinction. In fairness, the climate they came from was very marginal, and it could just happen. We did it to the old world did it to mammoths, for example. They did it to woolly rhinos. Which leads actually, here's a weird fun fact. As the ziggurats of Ur were built and Abraham first talked with El, mammoths still walked the earth.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they still did. They only went extinct actually after the pyramids were set up and the end of the Old Kingdom.
Hmm.
A little bit after 2600 BC. So yeah, legitimately in the Old Testament, no, for the flood, Noah probably did have mammoths on the ark.
Why, why doesn't the Genesis Museum have that?
They don't think about that sort of stuff, and it's fantastic.
That would be. Come, ride the dinosaurs and the woolly mammoths with Jesus.
Hey, Ebony Williams, you have this PDF as well. It's a pretty solid PDF. I'm just making fun of it because I have grown a lot less tolerant of this type of fucking take.
I mean, to be fair, it was the 90s, and we were just starting to apologize. Canada was starting to understand that Native Americans actually existed as their own entity.
The U.S. got around to it way before the Canadians did, though. Like
Yeah, but
starting from the 70s.
well, remember in the 70s we were still having Italians play Native Americans.
Do you know how hard it is to find a Native American actor, though?
You just take a Native American.
Yeah, Italian, Native American, they're both vaguely brown and make no sense when they speak. It's close enough. It's
Oh, wait,
close
no.
enough.
Well, oh, I mean also Jewish actors. If Lady
Oh,
Sal's
true, true. You could
saying
have
that to go
you could have.
five,
Look. I'm gonna be honest. What we could have done instead of casting this native, get a Jewish person to do it. We get a Sephardi. We get a Sephardim. We force them to get a haircut, and they'll look perfect for our for our spaghetti western.
of a sudden of a Laden, come off,
Uh,
shake my sugar.
but nah, like from the point of view of '97, this is around the time of like shit with Dances with Wolves, and this kind of taints the book somewhat.
Now the
Uh,
same thing with the Gypsy book.
yeah.
It was written in an era where people were starting to learn about other cultures and respect them, and they went overboard to the point where it gets offensive.
Well, you're saying that, but keep in mind that the person who wrote the Gypsies book, and we're calling it that because that's what it's called, wrote Ravenloft Second Edition, where their equivalent of the Romani was just as stereotypical.
Uh, what can I say?
You would have
I
been
do have to
about as served.
appreciate.
You would have been about as
Yeah,
served as just having like a random Hungarian nationalist to just fucking write it for you.
yeah. I do have to appreciate though when they're talking about the Native Americans is they list the tribes: Pawnee, Blackfoot, Cheyenne, Kiowa, Comanche, Osoga, Odo, Sauk, Fox, Crow, Arapaho, stuff. Like they go all out. And
They do, but my rebuttal to that is these are just the Siouan peoples. There's a variety of other tribes. Oh
well, they're
no, they
talking
keep
about
going. They'll keep
yeah,
going.
they keep going. They go for the one's the Pacific coast. They go for I guess we say the
Hey,
Southwest
they even got
Pueblo
the
Indians.
Dene. They even got the official name of the Navajo people. They're actually not called Navajo. That's just what we call them because that was a term for them. It's Dene.
Interesting.
I actually
Interesting.
like that. Okay, there we go. We're okay. They actually have some of the more obscure tribes in these too.
Yeah. By the end of the century, most of them will find them confined to reservations, which is true.
That is true. However, my rebuttal to this is the extermination via disease was more of an aspect of the 16th century. 95% of the population in the New World just fucking collapsed.
Well, I think they're going overall here because then they go into the violent clashes. They go for the exiles. So they do bring up the Trail of Tears with
Oh, they
Cherokee,
do mention it. Thank goodness. Okay.
the Choctaw and the Creek.
One of these books actually does not reference that, so that is actually an error on my part. I will retract that. Thank you. It's been a while since I've read this. I haven't read this in about 5 years.
The abundance of herd animals and other game provide ample food for packs of red and gray wolves, which, along with the mountain lion and the coyote, maintain the balance between predator and prey.
Fair enough. I mean, the mountain lion thing, I don't think the guru would care too much, given they kind of exterminated the Bastet and the
Yep.
equivalent of them in the Americas. I forget the name, the Jaguar shifters.
And then cities and civilizations.
What's Teotihuacan? What's Cuzco? What's Tenochtitlan?
Well, white cities
Ah,
with their
ah.
Christ and their guns
Yeah, I
and their
forgot. I
money.
forgot. I forgot. I forgot. If it don't have melanin, don't let him in.
They bring up the missionaries, homesteaders, prospectors. Bring up the 1849 gold rush.
Ah, my favorite gold rush because it was built on the bones of Chinese laborers. No, I'm not fucking with you. The railroads were legitimately built with the bones of Chinese laborers. You know how many of them fucking died doing it?
Yeah, a lot. It's quite funny. Actually, at the Smithsonian Museum of American History, they have a section on or of the railroad, and they do point out that when East met West, when the Transcontinental Railroad connected, none of the people in the photo were Chinese.
Yeah, they were all put in the back.
Yeah.
This was also the era where people were just kind of there were pogroms and killings of them. It was so bad that there was an actual riot against the Chinese Quarter in San Francisco. It took the great legend and world's best homeless guy, Emperor Norton the First, the man who declared himself Emperor of America after having a nervous breakdown because his shipping company failed, had to step in and stop it. Not even kidding. That's something he did. He basically ran in front of the mob that was about to attack the Chinese Quarter and began singing hymns and leading prayers, and it confused them enough that they fucked off.
Hmm.
Norton's kind of a great guy.
Yeah.
It's to the point where other royals actually humored him with it. Like, he actually got a uniform from the King of Prussia.
That's actually kind of funny that halfway around the world you're well known by
I
the.
think his hat was given to him by Napoleon III.
Hmm. They do bring up the range wars between cow ranchers who wanted the open range for mobile herds and sheep ranchers who relied on
Ooh,
fenced green pastures.
that's an aspect of the West that people usually forget about. Yeah. So one of the things is agriculture was being established in Texas specifically. There's a lot of excellent pasture lands, and the big argument was whether or not beef or sheep was going to be like a big thing, because both of them had the same niche and it was about as much investment. Sheep ultimately lost, and that was partially because so an interesting thing happened is several Texans actually imported Indian cattle, zebu, I think they're from India.
Hmm.
And what happens is if you crossbreed them with standard cattle, because they're actually technically a different genus, I think, you get these things called Brahmans. Yeah, if you're ever curious on why the cattle in Fallout have the name Brahmin, it's because they're based on the Brahman breed, which was actually created.
I thought it was just based on the Brahmin caste.
No, Brahman breed of cattle. It's a real thing. It's actually a source of Angus beef
Hmm.
because they could tolerate the heat of Texas and the Gulf better. They won the cattle war. I think it also helped. I think it was also just straight up corruption, graft, and the invention of barbed wire also helped.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you're curious, barbed wire was invented as a way to keep cattle in. It became very effective at making people die screaming. The weaver shapes its webs, not always of kind threads.
Yeah. They bring up the telegraph.
Oh, yep, Pony Express. Oh,
Over 27,000 wooden poles tower across the plains.
oh yeah, yeah. It's just as impressive as a monument as the Great Union Railroad. The only other telegraph lines that were as impressive was actually the one that was established by between London and I believe it was New York. The
Wait,
Great
what?
Transatlantic Telegraph Line.
Wait, they made an entire line that stretched
Yeah,
above water?
under. It's one of the first examples of undersea cables. It was invented in the 19th century so that we could communicate with European powers in the event of a war.
Yeah, I'm calling. If we could do that in the 1800s, we can conquer the stars. I think.
In fact, actually, a common method of sabotage was to start snipping the wires. This happened mostly during World War One. The Germans, if I recall correctly, would intentionally try to damage the wires using their U-boats.
Ooh. Then we have the coming of the railroad, but we also have a big section on minorities in the West,
Okay, okay. So
in
this is
which we
something
mean,
that's quite important.
yeah, blacks, Chinese, Indians, Jews, Mormons especially.
Mormons literally fled here because, in
Yeah,
the words
they,
of the original 1950, not 19, 1856 Republican Party manifesto, uh, LDS delenda est. Yeah, the Republican
remember,
Party used to want to destroy them. I've mentioned this a few times over
yeah,
the course of our streams.
you see, when they say the parties have switched, well, maybe in some ways they have, in
They do
some
mention
ways,
that free blacks did make a good portion of homesteaders. This was actually part of
eh,
Reconstruction. This was part
yep.
of Reconstruction. The 40 acres and a mule thing did actually happen to a limited
Let's see,
degree. It was never as much as
Chinese.
they should have, but they did genuinely get some plots.
Apparently, Chinese herbal medicine men were advanced practitioners in the cities of California. This I didn't know that Jews would have gone here for bringing education and higher learning to the West.
Effectively, yeah. A lot of the Jewish community in the West started from those who essentially the cities of Chicago, Pittsburgh, the major cities in the East. It was getting crowded, and they were struggling to find new careers. A lot of them were in education at this point, or in other, useful service industries. Since these cities needed new bureaucracy and staff, new job opportunities, baby.
Hmm. Uh, 18% of California's population by 1800, this would have been by a Spanish census though,
Yeah,
uh,
that's a bit
were
inaccurate.
black. Inaccurate, but Spain also would not have had the same.
Well, to give you
They
an
had
idea,
different stigmas.
Alta California. Well, no, they did. They had the casta system, and in fact, actually, if you're wondering why the weird obsession about what percentage of black people still have, the brown paper bag test and like ethnicity mixtures, it's from the casta system.
Yeah,
The
they
Spanish are
bring up.
responsible for this. The Americans just really became obsessive about it to
Mhm.
justify why they couldn't have equal rights.
They bring up also that women.
But just to get back into it, the 18% of Alta California doesn't mean shit. Do you want to know the population of Alta California at that time? 7,000
Five
people.
people. Oh.
That's like a couple hundred guys, man.
Yeah. But we do end up getting more people, over 40,000 pioneers by the Exodus of 1879.
Oh yeah, a lot. If you're very curious, the film Blazing Saddles is very accurate with the sheriff. A lot of black people actually moved west for a reason, because it gave them opportunities to find new careers. Eventually, a lot of them got kicked out by whites, but not all of them did, and that's why you will occasionally find in the mid and southwest African American communities that have been there for a long time.
Uh,
Tulsa, Oklahoma,
then,
for example, had a pretty strong black community because of that.
yeah, well, Tulsa.
Mhm. It was actually also
Uh,
nicknamed the Harlem of the West for a reason.
until a bunch of people got pissed at their economic success and burned it down.
They hit oil, and essentially, yeah, they were not very happy that they were able to find the oil first.
Way to go, white people. Way to go. But women often would distinguish themselves. I mean, this is the area that would end up giving women the right to vote.
Mainly because there's just no one out here. Like
Yeah,
Wyoming.
you've got Annie Oakley, famous shooter.
Yep, and then
Uh,
there's they mentioned Charlie Parkhurst, who basically did disguise herself as men. A lot of women did disguise themselves as men during this period. Women do actually have quite a bit of value in the West. There's a reason why they actually had careers out in the West, because in a town of like 700 people, you're gonna need someone to handle these careers. And honestly, given that there's almost no one out there, if your husband dies, you're gonna take the land for yourself and manage it. So you had a
Hmm.
lot more rights out in the West than you did. And on top of that, to incentivize people to enter these territories, divorce laws became very lax. As in, some of the first states to have divorce laws were in the West.
Oh, that's actually unique. I do like the image though that comes up next of the train with the werewolf symbols on it.
That is a wormish taint construct, I believe. Maybe, I don't know. The
Mhm.
the skull kind of gives me bad vibes. Again, I'm not. This is not coming to my mind. I don't know this stuff by heart. I'm just seeing tribal
But
symbols.
they do basically this is the diversity of this period also allows you to introduce new or not introduce various groups.
There,
You know,
there,
like all
there
of
is
the
a
tribes
reason.
can be here.
There is a reason why when I make fun of Chaosium's take on Call of Cthulhu, I go, "Do you really want to have amazing black characters? Have a Call of Cthulhu Chronicle out in the West, my guy. Not only do you got Wild West, but that includes stuff like the Mound. H.P. Lovecraft did do a couple of stories out in the Wild West.
Hmm.
Not involving cowboys, but specifically there's one that I think is the Mound is one. It might not be. I could be full of shit. It's been a while since I've read that one. But you can
Though there's
easily do stuff involving that.
though there are some groups that we would not be able to see here. The other changing breeds, because the pure tribes slaughtered most of them.
Oh yeah, the War of Rage went into their favor. Ignore how the War of Rage resulted in the werewolves fucking losing in East Asia.
And then we get they give us a bit more of a time period,
It's kind
1827 to
of important.
1890.
Yeah, they go into the 6 decades between 1830 and 1890. By the way, this is just a more traditional take on the Old West. There are areas that had Old West style antics up until after the Great Depression started. As in, one of the
Because
last actual shootouts between fucking outlaws and, and essentially a posse happened in West Texas in the 1930s.
I mean, the western half of the United States is huge.
Yeah,
Like
people really don't understand how fucking empty it is.
like the idea of what is the what could be considered western or like part of the Wild West. Probably every state, every county probably has their own take on the Wild West.
Well, not only that, but also if you're curious, the counties as you go further west become square just because holy shit, we need to figure out how to get enough people to count this as a county. No, seriously, if you ever look at
Mhm.
U.S. counties, once you cross the Mississippi, it mostly becomes square, except for the early cities that were founded during the drive west,
Just as Jefferson intended,
just as the founding fathers intended.
quite literally in this case. They then give us, though, your various breeds, your Karens, more of the backstory, the litany.
Well, they also give you a nice little timeline. Just specifically, it's a short little timeline that's very useful. It helps the storyteller try to figure out what type of chronicle do you want to tell. Do you want to talk about like the Texas Independence War? Like, let's say you're a bunch of get who want to try to forge Texas because you're sick of America. Maybe you're like a sort of Heimdall
The
awful
Get
person.
the Alamo.
Yeah, you could do something with that where you could have clashes between each other because of your stupid
Wait a
camps.
minute. And then they're versing the vampires that have come up with Santa Anna.
Yeah, you have to deal with the Sabbat.
Or you're a part of the war the Mexican American War and you're going into Mexico.
That's more of a fun vampire one, but yeah, the Guru taking on a bunch of leeches. That sounds pretty fun. No, no, hear me out. The gold rush to California. Okay, here's my stupid idea. It is a proxy war between traditions and conventions. It is Mage the Gold Rush, where
Ooh.
they accidentally create a bunch of gold, because this can happen. It's a
Okay,
paradox
yeah.
effect. They accidentally transmute a bunch of lead that was in the California hills into gold. And unfortunately, a sleeper found it, and now it is a war over the identity of California. Which can also maybe explain all of the weird cults that formed on the West Coast during that era.
Emperor Norton the Changeling.
That is, I wouldn't want to run a Changeling Chronicle, but I would love to see him as a Changeling character. Here you go. That's an NPC for you. He's still around. He's just not in the real space anymore. He went to the Dreaming, or at least he went to one of the courts or one of the holdings.
They give us
Freeholds.
the howls. So if you want to howl like a wolf in public, you can do that.
I mean, they expect you to embarrass yourself in Theater of the Mind. Keep in mind that as the World of Darkness progressed, they leaned harder and harder into the LARP stuff. That's why they did Mind's Eye Theater. This is also
They give us
probably to its detriment.
yeah, they give us the 13 tribes in this case: the Black Furies, the Bonars, Children of Gaia, Fianna, the Geta Fenris, the Iron Riders.
Yep, that is something new.
Interesting. So that's an element and then a mode of locomotion. I wonder what they could be.
The Iron Riders, yeah.
The Steel Bicyclists,
Well, they can't be the Silent Striders.
the Bronze Baggage Riders.
Ah, yeah, they're the Glass Walkers.
Wait, were you actually wondering if it wasn't the Silent Strike?
I was having a brain fart and I was thinking it might have been a Black Spiral dancing op. Because think about it, railroads, trains actually release a lot of pollutants from their,
No,
from their steam
dude.
drive.
Yeah, it was the Glass Walkers.
I'm sorry, that was just me being stupid.
Yeah. Believing in the powers of the Weaver.
Yeah,
Should be listening to the Battle.
it took
Yeah,
me a
there you go.
second to realize it. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, yeah.
Yep. Then you got the Red Talons, the Shadow Lords, Silent Striders.
I like how the Glasswalkers can't decide on a fucking name.
Well, the name would have to change.
For a group that is obsessed with stasis, they change their names way more than any of the other tribes.
Oh, you're right. The Silverfangs, Stargazers, Uktena, and the Wendigo.
Oh yeah, unfortunately the Stargazers would be here, the least interesting of the tribes by fucking far.
Then you have the Lost Tribes, the White Howlers, the Croatoan, and the Bunyip, your Lone Wolves, your Kinfolk, your Moots, the Cosmology.
So I have a hot take on the Bunyip. Why thylacines and not dingo? They weren't even
The Dingo are
compared to
still.
they weren't even compared to yeah, they were around at this point. Dingoes were around for thousands of years. I I,
Yeah,
I
but
get I get why, but my problem is why have them here?
because
No,
the Tasmanian wolves are extinct.
they're not even called Tasmanian wolves most of the time. That's a Europeanism. They're more
They're
often called
extinct.
tigers.
They're extinct, though. That was the whole point, is that the Bunyip get killed by the Garu because the Garu are hypocritical assholes.
Well, no, it wasn't even killed by the Gara. It was killed by one particularly brain dead red talon. You know
Which is
your
even
tribe
more of an
sucks when a
irony.
single fucking guy wipes out your tribe. I'm sorry, but like you fucking suck if you have that problem. I'm sorry, get good. I'm gonna say it. The Red Talons actually probably did the world a service by getting rid of him. I'm joking. The Red Talons didn't get a win there. They're incapable of it. Or if they did, it immediately turns into a defeat. It's kind of like Ethan Ralph.
I think the other thing that hits it is the fact that we do have the records of literally the last known placing in captivity.
Yeah, but
Like we watched a species die.
we also saw that happen with Hawaiian crows. Or no, the mo'o bird, or the bird from Hawaii, where you could hear its mating display, but as the last one of its kind, it never got the receiving song back.
Oh, that one, yeah. Oh,
Also, they're called lone wolves. These are usually called Ronin. They didn't have that at the time, so they're called lone wolves, the ones that are thrown out of tribes.
no, no, varies called lone wolves, outlaws, renegades, ronin, or outcasts.
What? Actually, that was always one of the weirder decisions. The Grove really aren't involved in East Asia. Why the hell would they call their renegades Ronin?
Well, um,
Oh
there's a
God.
Hamid called Dave, mates with the other half, Filoni.
I was actually gonna make that as a gag. I think he played fucking Werewolf the Apocalypse. That might have been where he got the obsession with Japan
No, no,
from.
no, no. I'm saying it's a paracausal thing. You see, Filoni exists, and then we've put him back. We put him in the game as the creator of the term Ronin.
So what you're saying is I need to hire the Hermetics to use correspondence to make it so he never existed. Got it.
Correct.
But
Uh,
yeah, they really go into the mechanics that the Apocalypse book would do.
and they do give us where uh, groups would be. So the Great Plains could, could end up getting a lot of Irish and German kinfolk, therefore getting the Fianna and the Get.
Yeah, actually, if you're curious, the Upper Midwest is a very strong Get a Fenris hold for them because of the immigration from Swedes and Scandinavians.
A lot of the Uktena, because surprise, surprise, the Uktena are the what are they? They're not. Are they? They're not Algonquin. No, that's the Wendigo.
The Ictena are supposed to be Cherokee, but that doesn't make any sense because they also basically colonized the rest of the southern New World.
They're the American,
They're the
the
southern
current
tribes
American.
technically, but the problem is they also include stuff like I'm not even kidding. The Uktena had examples involving like the Tupi, the fucking Mapuche. You name a South American tribe. Technically, if you have a guru from there, they're probably Uktena. Also,
Mm,
the Uktena, they've gone full Moorish Brotherhood by the final nights. If you're curious,
yeah. Then
like
they
like
bring
we're
up
they're not quite full Yakub the Devil. That's more of a
yeah.
Wendigo thing, but they're pretty close.
Then they bring up the Worm, the Black Spiral Dancers, and the Storm Eater, which is this potent worm spirit that is soon to be coming and will enact great and terrible catastrophe upon the world.
Well, it's not the first time. Actually, if you think about it, how is the New World the Pure Lands when the strongest entities of the worm ripped through it like diarrhea from a person who ate too much Cadoba?
Because they were initially bound, but then the white man came and fucked it all up.
I think it's just that they don't want to own up to their fucking mistake.
Oh god, look at page 64
I love the image here. The expression on this guy's face.
with Native American Mandalorian over there showing showing its various spirits, including a lizard.
I
And
low
you
key
see,
kind of love that.
his faith in the Holy Bible can't take care of the fact that dinosaurs exist.
Do you like the really deformed rat guy down there? The really deformed
Yeah, I
prop
think this is
rat.
supposed to be the enlightened. Is this the Enlightened Society of the Weeping Moon? The Neo-Masonic Order, practicing pseudo-spiritual rites. Stated goals provide relief for widows and orphans and make loans to small businesses. Um, but in reality, uh, they're a weaver society
Okay.
and landowner. Oh, and they're landowners.
Uh, that's one of the choices of all time to actually make complaints about the Masonic Lodge. That is what is your thought on the AC? What is your thoughts on the Anti Defamation League, Justin? What did you mean by making the Mason lodges this way? What are your thoughts on the Jews, my friend?
But then we also have the other supernaturals. Vampires, they'd be here. Mages, a few of them, yeah. Wraiths, well, there'd be a lot of dead people.
They did used to have their own. So here's a fun little
The
detail.
what was it, the kingdom of
The Kingdom of Obsidian.
yeah, and then the Fae.
They exist.
And in fact, I think Changeling 20 would give you rules for the specific the Nuene.
They should. I just love the expression of this cowboy. You know, he knows he's about to. This is Custer's last stand.
I'm gonna shit myself.
This is Custer's last shit before the guru destroys him with that hatchet.
And let's see, they give us books: Life and Death of Crazy Horse, The Speed of Lambs, The Oxford History of the American West.
It's a
Um,
pretty good collection of material, and if you've ever actually looked through the Dark Arrows books like with us, this is pretty similar, actually.
yep, Magnificent for movies, Magnificent Seven, True Grit, uh, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Pale Rider,
Yeah,
Stagecoach.
Stagecoach is not bad.
Eh, Where's Paint Your
But
Wagon?
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is fine. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that they don't have.
Nope, Dances with Wolves is the second option.
I'm surprised they don't have for a more lighthearted one, Blazing Saddles.
I think that kind of goes with a little too much of the tone.
These are the people that made a book that has a Samichi woman with swastika pasties.
Maybe, listen, you could probably do that in a
They
different
wrote
book.
Freak Legion.
Oh, and NDR is also pointing out there was two kingdoms, Flint and Obsidian.
Yeah, the Flint and Obsidian lands. Obsidian is South America, Flint is the North America. Flint barely exists at this point. It is essentially an archipelago of barely surviving fragments, from what I understand. It is in bad shape.
So then we get here more storytelling rules, how to run
What the
conflict.
Mayans are fallen? Why are they so fucking obsessed
Wait,
with
what?
making South America the source of evil? What the fuck, White Wolf? I'm actually getting pissed off by that. The Mayan gods are demons. Really?
Wait, really?
I'm actually angry.
You couldn't have gone even further, like Olmec or whatever?
I mean, for shit's sake, it was already fucked enough that you made. Well, actually, no, I fully believe a vampire ran the Aztec Empire. I am fine with a
Oh,
Bali
absolutely,
running
yeah.
that. But the Mayans? What the fuck?
Well, I mean, we do get pissed at that. At the same time, though, they literally made the ancient Egyptians be just actual vampires.
Yeah, Yeah, but that's a bit less awful than, hey, indigenous people, because the Mayans are still a vibrant ethnic culture that still have elements of their old traditional belief syncretized with Christianity. Hey, your old traditions that your family has been practicing for hundreds of years. That one of the many things that made you rebel against the Mexican and Guatemalan governments and the previous new Spanish government, at least on more than one occasion. Yeah, you're venerating Satan. You're venerating the Dark Lord. You can't really yeah, Kemet's dead. And I mean, there's people that have descent from there, but for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
I'd have been more fine with them being like changing breeds, honestly. Like if you said the Aztec pantheon, like the Mayan pantheon was them, sure. They're like a mixture of Balaam and like a bunch of other changing breeds. Or like they worshipped like tribal totems from the fucking guru. I'd be more tolerable of that, you know?
I mean, I guess they would have to pick like a really dead civilization, or they,
The
they could
Mayans did
just
have
take it.
sacrifice. Also,
They
you
could
are
have.
right. The Mayans do have
But
sacrifices, but by this logic, the Incans should also be demon worshippers, and so should the Semitic peoples, because it took the Israelites to stop sacrificing children. The
but
Canaanites kept doing that for until like the fucking 500s BC.
but we need to. We need to. And otherwise, I don't know. One of our gods will be jealous at us. We got to keep sacrificing our leaders' children.
Hey, does that mean that technically, does
Bro,
that mean that Rome was like devil worshippers because Saturnalia originally included human sacrifice?
you know what? I'm gonna go with that.
Because that was a thing that occasionally happened in the oldest performances of Saturnalia. Like we're talking back during not during the Republic era, man.
That actually would make. We could have gone the entire way. Every culture that did child sacrifice were actually worshiping
Well, in
demons.
fairness, the Romans didn't sacrifice children. I think they usually sacrificed adults.
Eh. as we keep going
Wait.
on.
Does that mean the Norse who actually did practice on rare occasions human sacrifices via the Great Blots? Does that make them devil worshippers?
Well, wasn't one of them a vampire?
Yeah, but they're also werewolves, so like,
Eh. A lot of this, as I'm going through this, a lot of this does seem to be just the storytelling beats. Like
yeah, we
we
can
get a
kind of
section,
skim through this. This
we
is
literally get
very
a
much a
section
core rule book.
on the rules, complications, examples of roles, game lingo. Try to get to something that's unique here.
Yeah, because this is just pure rule book. This dead man on page 76.
Hmm.
That is the expression you have on your face when you nut and they keep sucking. He got sucked to death by this gunslinger.
Hmm. You know what I'd go with then? Let's go to.
We
Let's go to
have we have a gangrel brothel lady.
we can
We have
start
a
at page
gangrel
110.
prostitute. That's pretty fascinating. Can do. Let's just keep on skimming through because there ain't no point in covering. They have a term for bullseyes where you get 10, and they start going into old timey old timey ways of saying stuff for no reason at this point. They do that a few times for no reason. I will say I do love the art that they have. You have a ratkin about to murder a bane possessed horse, for example.
Ooh,
Okay. Which one did you say? Sorry, I was just. No.
page.
There is one more that you have to see that is. Oh, for a minute there, I thought that was a werewolf that was actually enslaved, like a slave werewolf. Which, I made the joke about that in Milwaukee by Night. So I thought for a minute there I actually fucking saw it. Sorry.
Django Unchained.
What was it, 114 you said?
Yeah, like 114, because that gives us into how they'll characterize the various tribes.
Yeah, because they go into, like, details, but if you have the copy of Werewolf, Werewolf Armageddon,
Let's see how they do the
Not
Black
Werewolf Armageddon.
Furies.
Werewolf the Apocalypse. Wow, I had a fucking brain aneurysm. There
Oh
we
no.
go.
Oh no. Page 116, we have a pregnant werewolf.
We also have a werewolf that the expression on page 115, you have the expression of a werewolf who is about to clap that woman's cheeks. She has the gun not for the guy that's dead in the water, but for this
It's
guy. This is like some
it's
Pepe Le Pew shit.
it's a silver bullet derringer. But
Oh. By the way, NDR is correcting us a little bit. Odin was a vampire until he larped as Hyde and stacked 19 templates before kicking the bucket. Odin has also allegedly been like a mage or whatever. Like, they keep retconning shit. It's fine. The mares of Diomedes are revenant animals in Dark Ages. Oh, okay.
hmm,
I forgot you can make. Yeah, that's a thing you can do, which leads to my hilarious idea. If you ever make a Nosferatu character, make a revenant line of rats. Think of the horrible things you can do with a family and group of rats that have vitae for you and are smarter.
undead undying
Well,
rats.
no. Here's the thing: rats. So revenants last. I think it's like 4 times longer than the average. So your rats can actually live to be like 20 years old.
Hmm.
Angel Arroyo, Ventru and Toreador owning Guru as slaves will always end well. You're saying that, but the character from Milwaukee by Night that had slaves was actually a gangrel. Oh, was I pre-gaming for the Werewolf the Apocalypse? No, that was a really horrible malapropism. For whatever reason, that was a big substitution error.
But let's see, what do they say for the Black Furies?
Oh yeah, the
They seem to
pregnant
be.
werewolf. Here you go.
Yep.
Here you go.
They have a special distaste for the Geta Fenris.
I
Say
just
without
love
her
how they're
intention.
essentially having a dialogue like women talk, or it's like an episode of Jerry Springer.
Well, no. You see, this is a suffragette debate between a city folk woman, woman on the frontier who really doesn't give a shit about voting or whatever, and then the pregnant one who's just like, I don't give a damn.
They actually
Like,
mentioned the no. This is a Black Furies. This is these are the Black Furies having a complaint session about suffrage, or maybe reproductive rights. I don't fucking know. One of the
eh,
choices of all
at this
time.
stage, it's kind of both.
One of the choices of all time. NDR, give the rats potent so they are as strong as a person by raw. Well, of course. Don't you want your
Uh,
rats to have on average 2 dots of strength so that they can be used to
Also,
horribly
NDR,
destroy people?
I am pretty sure that that woman is like 9 months pregnant.
Oh yeah, she's about. Oh yeah, she's about to pop.
Why she's in Krynos form? Well, actually, that might help.
Yeah, I don't know why she's in Krynos form because this can't be Mati because the
Actually,
Mati
wait,
cannot
one sec.
reproduce.
Is the form that if you're a Hamid, however, you're in Canis form and you give birth, you'll give birth to a human.
Yes, you will, and vice versa. If you shacked up with a wolf in your in your werewolf goings, it will be wolf pups.
Hmm.
There's a reason people don't really talk about that or think about it, even though there's entire litanies about it.
Oh God, I have a horrifying idea of, hey, a group of human kinfolk. They find they don't have any men around, but they do have a lupus.
You say that? You mean human kinfolk? That does actually happen quite a bit. In
They'll
fact, among some
forcing
tribes,
the
they
force the lupus for not kinfolk force the lupus werewolf to go into Hamid form and start banging.
go into Hamid form. They're part spirit. Or am I? No, I'm confusing that with
I'm
Forsaken.
saying the kinfolk are forcing the lupus to be a human to have human children.
There's a
Moving
re-
on to the bone
there's a
nars.
reason why werewolf players I usually look at with a side eye, even though you know the horrible things you can do with vampire.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they're just as bad, but the problem is it's a little harder to get into the nitty gritty of the gross because reproductive mechanics are not an actual part of vampire society other than the embrace,
Though I'm gonna have to
which
say
is just as bad.
you would think though that mage would be that way because mind and
Don't forget life, which allows
well,
you to alter your physical shape.
yep. But the bone nars.
There's a reason.
The
There's a reason that people look at the people who play this with a side eye. Simon asks, was it ever explained why they added the whole breeding as a part of the Effectively, it is they are dying out, and it is your obligation as a warrior of life to prop reproduce. Like an animal's purpose is to at least propagate. That's why it makes sense that there is an element of that in the litany. It is just really fucking weird, and there is an aspect of weirdness because of that element.
I will say here with the bone nars, they do see the United States as the great experiment of democracy,
Well, yeah,
even though the forest.
eventually, Almighty Dollar becomes one of their totems.
Well, the other thing I would add, these would be great for a Gilded Age chronicle
Oh God, yeah.
against Bane possessed Pinkertons.
No, no, no. Actually, that's really fun. Okay, yeah, yeah. Because keep in mind, you have the not just the Pinkertons, but you have like the Battle of Blair Mountain and shit.
I think that's later, but
But
still.
no, no. Think about like, okay, hear me out. Bone Gnar Wobblies,
Ah,
industrial workers of the world unite.
then we have the
Don't
Children of
NDR.
Gaia.
No, no. Don't be cruel. Don't be cruel. Phil Brucado's one is actually a pregnant Bastet woman.
Yeah.
He's very interested in his
Well,
cats.
the Children of Gaia uh, are feel at home in the United States as a nation whose ideals and very constitution they influenced. What's the Iroquois? Fuck them.
Funnily enough, the Iroquois were the Haudenosaunee were at least an inspiration for at least a little
Oh,
bit for the
yeah,
Senate.
no, I'm just saying. It's like what a bunch of Children of Gaia. What are they? Irishmen?
Children of Gaia are just a bunch of hippies from the old world.
Oh, they're Baptists.
Probably.
Yeah.
Their entire thing is, hey man, like we can work together.
Yep, they want to work
Maybe don't
against.
be a rage-filled moron. I'm playing them up a bit. These guys tend to be among
Oh,
the more
wait.
reasonable.
Tribal lore tells in the early days of the New World, a child of Gaia aided the Kurtoan against the fight against the worm, and the tribe is now encouraging the Lieutenant Wendigo to join with the European Garu they so exempt. Come on, man. Let's have peace. We
That's
may have
literally the
exterminated your
children of
people,
Gaia. That's the children of Gaia in a nutshell. Why don't we just
and
like
that's
get along, man?
yep. Then Fianna. Fianna need not apply, I'd argue.
Yeah, you just see anti-Irish laws, and there you go.
Oh,
That's a Fianna.
absolutely. Because hey, they take the jobs nobody wants, which means we don't have many jobs for the native people.
Which leads to one of my favorite. Okay, hear me out. I have an excellent idea for a chronicle for Werewolf. Rage. No, it's not Rage Across New York. It's Gangland, New York. It is, and you play as Fianna mobsters for the Irish mob.
Then we have the Get of Fenris.
They're probably going to reference the Swords of Heimdall because this is
They
when
have
they were at
no
their most
patience
relevant.
for abolitionists or women's suffrage advocates, or for the complaints of the pure ones who whine about the loss of their land.
Okay,
When slaves
that
free
part's
them, wait,
correct.
wait. When slaves free themselves, when the women win the right to vote, then they'll be truly worthy of their new rights.
Suck start a shotgun. That's the Swords of Heimdall. That's not them as a whole. Because the thing that this fucking moron got wrong about them is, yes, they believe that you have to be strong enough to be able to get out of your own clutches, right? But you know what they also really fucking hate? People who take advantage of others by exploiting them. Because they're not strong. They didn't do it through strength. They're basically doing it for control. They hate bullies effectively.
Yep.
And one of
Uh,
the biggest weak pathetic people, because here's the thing, they don't go out and catch the slaves themselves, they hire people to do it. They don't do the work themselves, they have other people do it for them. They're weak bitches, which means you shouldn't have any fucking slaves. That is just as viable a playstyle for a get.
so yeah, they could be abolitionists.
They
It's
could be,
just for
they genuinely
it's
could.
just for entirely horribly wrong reasons.
The thing is though, and this is why I had to bring it up, the Swords of Heimdall in this era in America is one of the stronger camps. So this is correct, but this is misframing them really fucking
Oh,
badly.
they'd absolutely be ardent nationalists.
Well, they were. They believed in a certain type of exceptionalism. There's a reason a lot of them joined the Nazis a few
Yep.
decades later.
But then we have the Iron Riders, who claim that the technology spirits are proof that Gaia encourages human achievements.
I never really understood the take that they try to go with the Warders of Men slash Glasswalker slash Iron Rider slash AI cult. What would you call them now because of the AI bubble?
I mean, I still think Glasswalkers would work.
I feel like they're the sort of people that would spam AI though.
Ram Stalkers?
Shit posters.
No, no, no. Silicon Gliders.
But no, like I
And
said,
NDR, hold on, NDR is asking if the major gifts are different. I can't
we
tell.
don't know this shit by heart. The only ones I actually know relatively well because I played them a little bit are the Shadow Lord, so we'll see. I will say from Z Star EU7 and Yo, yeah, it's much easier to just paint the whole tribe as baddies, obviously. They kind of, I don't think they quite do, since they try to at least say that they do respect people that escape their bondages. But even at this point, it's pretty clear that Justin Achilli, I don't think he actually understood how the get work.
Next up, though, are the Red Talons, and they are just the
My
same as
least
Red
fa-
Talons.
I can't say my least favorite anymore because that's the fucking Stargazers. They're not even in my top three least favorite. These guys essentially, okay, think about it from the point of view, since I had my entire worldview on them not change but shift a bit. Think about it like this: you are a dog, right? You are a big wolf dog that have no brain. You just hunt, you kill, and you work care about family, kind of. You know,
Life good.
life
Hunt
good.
good.
Now imagine waking up with the full cognitive ability of a human. You have thoughts that you never had before. And by the way, the entire change is agonizing. So you yipping in agony as your brain and everything gets rewritten. And all of a sudden, things are thinking that don't think normally.
I now think long-term planning. I want investment
Not
strategies, a
only that,
solid
but
home life.
yes, you understand emotional attachments more. You have a maturity in not a maturity. You have an awareness of mental desires and strengths now. Isn't that terrifying?
Yeah.
Can you understand why some of them want to return to Wolf and not think about that shit?
Well, I mean, I think they could rationalize it. It's like we're able to think to guard the world.
They do to a degree, but they were always on the losing side of these most of these debates usually. And
Yeah.
on top of that, they always were terrified of becoming too much like the man that hunts them.
Well, as they say here, the quote, "You are neither welcome nor safe here, ape. A pity you have no time remaining to regret your mistake."
Flash cut to their entire flash cut to the complete extirpation of fucking wolves. Just like
In North. Yep.
montage of them.
Dun, 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 dun. And every pitch is just another shot of a Winchester rifle into the face of a wolf.
It's just like exploding varmints.
Dun,
But
dun, 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 dun,
it just cut to like footage of Oregon Trail where you just hunt the. You know how you could do the hunting mini game.
no, footage of all those hunts of buffalo where they're just on the train just shooting the buffalo. We are proud. We are strong defenders of Gaia. We have been here since the beginning, and we will keep
Flash
your
cut to the
tradition.
thousands of. You ever see those old timey photos where like you just see just a field full of dead deer that were shot? Just cut
Yes.
to that. Again, I raised my opinion of them, but I kind of still hate them specifically because the best way to describe them is they're essentially I see them as the Joker. I see them as the Joker tribe. Essentially, they are the Joker from the bad day. You know, the bad day speech. You had a bad day too. Don't you get it? This world is doomed. Why aren't you laughing? Why aren't you crying? I heard that joke before. I fucking hated it the first time. Get
Next
out
up,
of your
though,
self
is
pity. They come at this from self pity, basically.
yeah, are the Shadow Lords. Now,
Let's
I
see.
don't think they'd be up here that much because
Oh, they
Eastern
did change their
Europeans.
beginning gifts a little bit because they don't have the seize the initiative one that I used quite a bit as a
Hmm,
Shadow Lord. Basically, the Shadow Lords have a really nice gift. So you know, sometimes you have a when you roll your dice, you get the same amount of successes as your opponent.
yep.
For a Shadow Lord, yes, but actually no. If you tie, you win.
Ah.
No need to roll again. You just fucking win.
So let's see here. We have the Silent Striders.
These guys were
They
essentially cursed by Set to never have a home.
they're notorious for appearing from nowhere and vanishing as suddenly as they came.
Ooh, they're mysterious. The reason they're mysterious is because they're actually one of the few tribes that are on speaking terms with the changing breeds because they kind of thought the whole War of Rage was, as the kids say, but fucking retarded.
The Silver Fang. Yep. And there's the Silver Fangs, and as they claim from the Russian Empire, a great idea for me, I think, have them be in Alaska. You set the Chronicle in Alaska.
That's a fun one. If I recall correctly, Alaska is more of a Red Talon home, though.
You have Alaska and you have I think some parts of the West Coast did have Russian colonies set up.
They had a few small towns, yes.
So
I think there was maybe
absolutely then.
12,000 Russians that lived there at its peak.
So you got what, like 5 werewolves?
If you wanted a pack of Silverfang, well, I mean, think about it like this: Silverfangs are also the most inbred of the tribes because they're very obsessed with their purity.
Oh,
So
wait a minute. What if they were failed revolutionaries. Like, you don't say of things like the tradition, but they're outcasts.
Okay, now
They're
you're cooking.
communists.
No, no, now you're cooking. Not old Nikki, not old Nikki Silverfangs.
Who would have been was Bakunin around at this time?
Yeah, yes, he was. I was
Yeah,
thinking. I
he's
was thinking more of the peasant and land liberation movements, like the Narodniks.
hmm.
Those are the guys that. Those are not the guys that were responsible for. I forget. Were they the ones that killed Alexander II? I know it was Lenin's brother who did.
Wait, really?
Yeah, his brother was a member of a radical group that killed the Tsar.
Just you gotta imagine just the grudge.
I mean, that's part of it, but he also agreed with the opinions. It just solidified his opinion that the Tsardom was rotten and needed to be purged.
No, but I meant like both brothers ended up killing a Russian czar.
In fairness, it was actually Sverdlov who signed it. It wasn't Lenin. Lenin didn't care though. I'll say that much. Hey,
Uh,
it's the worst it's the worst tribe because there's nothing of value about the Stargazers. Their entire thing is they're inscrutable, they're mysterious, they're connected to the east, but they're not really connected to. They just basically sit there
this
and
yeah, as they
stare.
say here.
They're
Yeah. Uh,
worthless.
Many watch over Chinese ghettos, isolated introspective tribes of Native Americans. The superior warrior is as the wind, invisible in motion, perceptible only by the way his targets shift and fall.
Joke's on them. They had nothing fucking written about them in any of the Gehenna or Apocalypse scenarios. They're completely worthless.
Let's see. Uktena.
Is the
Um,
Uktena about to commit a hate crime to this Chinese man?
oh, he's about to say so many racial slurs.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's gonna get ugly.
Um, they trust few of the European Garu. They respect the children of Gaia, but get the fuck out of here, paleface.
Yeah, they're still a little salty, but they at least are willing to work with the other tribes because they also kind of low-key realize that the Pure Lands were not going to be pure much longer. They are also the guys that are responsible for chaining up. You know the horrible worm creature that they mentioned in this splat as the big threat?
Yep.
They're responsible for chaining it.
And then you have the Wendigo, who,
Ah, the tribe that is
who,
not as good.
yep, who, a great Canadian chronicle of you murdering people trying to get into British Columbia and Alberta.
Straight up, the Wendigo at this point of time are completely well, they're not really unplayable. It's just you're gonna play these if you just wanna go full hate crime.
And die by the hail of American bullets
Oh no,
or Canadian bullets.
they got their they got their I'm just gonna say they got their bussies destroyed by the get.
Okay, and let's see. As we go through this, the attributes I do like that they make it
NDR, the
culturally
Uktena
relevant.
unleashing the 1,000 racial slurs they sealed 10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you get strength like they give here like especially is barrel chested,
Oh
full
yeah.
of snap, outstanding. You can lift a pony.
Uh, that's one of the things that the era books always kind of did really nicely is they gave you examples of abilities that would fit for the time period. Because Vampire Dark Ages also did that, as did Werewolf Dark Ages and Vampire Victoria, the Victorian by night, Victorian era by night.
Manipulation. You should be called walking firewater. I look for 5. You could sell snake oil to a snake oil salesman.
Walking Firewater is one of the terms to say of all time while trying to. That's a Scooby Doo villain?
No, no, that's a Rift's character.
No, that's a real Scooby Doo villain. Like this is an actual witch doctor character that was used in an episode of. So there's an episode in the early run of Scooby Doo where the dude wanted to win a dog show and he was not happy that he was likely to lose. So he, for whatever fucking reason, he kidnapped the dogs and then also moonlighted. This is a white guy, by the way. Moonlighted as a Native American shaman. So he was wearing red face, fucking haunting these
I would have
Pueblo
gotten away with it
villages.
too. You have those masculine kids, or masculine pale faces, and their devil dog.
I do actually like the character design. It's just it's making me laugh because I know this is a real tribal mask. This is something that you would see in actual tribal displays among several southwestern tribes, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just it reminds me of the Scooby Doo character.
I have to say, with the gun though, with the blood dripping off it, that's badass.
Yeah, it means he beat someone to death with it, which is fantastic.
Not even with the butt of the gun. Then he beat it with the barrel.
And he also kept his also keep rather than having scalps, he keeps their fucking skeletons.
Let's see. For mental wits, outstanding. You invented card counting.
Yeah, I also like the low level ones, like intelligence. You have trouble telling right from left. Oh god, I have an intelligence of 1 since I almost fucked that up.
Talents.
No, average.
Uh,
You got the 3 R's down. Writing, reading, and arithmetic. I love that.
let's see. Um, empathy. You often finish other folks' sentences. Yeah, using the term folks.
You are inoculated against untruths.
Expression. Not
Dime
novice. I'm
novelist.
novelist.
The problem is
Magazines.
no. The problem is dimes are still quite valuable at this point. It would be a penny dreadful. Penny dreadful.
Let's see.
Master's Chief
Intimidation.
Joseph. You legitimately are just on the same level as an actual tribal chief.
Wait,
And
no, larceny. You're the Geronimo of crime.
that I don't think that was a good choice of words.
No. Primal urge.
So yeah, primal urge is effectively the ability of it allows you to use it's similar to awareness and alertness kind of. It allows you to tap into your wolf senses.
Ah,
It's unique. It's
the
unique to Werewolf the Apocalypse. It is a very useful gift to ability to have, and it allows you to detect supernatural creatures much more easily if you have a high ranking of it.
let's see. Crafts. Uh, you
It
could
also
tan a
it also
hide.
is a bit limited because again you are usually a werewolf, so you're kind of very much a luddite.
Uh, fire. Oh no, firearms.
No, no,
Novice.
you can build a locomotive at Expert Crafts. So if you want to be the Iron Rider who is obsessed with trains, you could
the
do
the first.
Werewolf Railroad Tycoon.
No, the first autist.
You could be the first foamer.
Firearms. Novice. You let your pa let you squeeze off a few rounds with his Colt.
What did you mean by this, White Wolf?
Uh, oh
Like you
no,
plug nickels in midair.
Master. Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Pikers. Was that a
That is a slang term, but I think it's more of an English one.
A gambler who only makes small bets.
It was real slang. It's just I thought this was
Literally,
more of a British slang.
the third entry is then Hassan,
I
which
mean, that's very fitting.
that is actually fitting.
He's a chump. He's a chump. He's a mook. He's a nothing. He's shit on my shoe.
Let's see. At Leadership 5, you could form your own country, but at Leadership 4, you could start your own religion.
That's a bit of a fun dig at religion, but I
Oh,
also
wait. Performance. Oh, no.
before you
How
do,
about it?
I also love possessed by political bosses. That's a nice little reference because at this time period, the U.S. was a fairly advanced democracy at the time, but corruption's still a thing now, and it's gotten ugly for here and there. This is
See,
nothing
it's.
compared to the era because this is the era of Boss Tweed. This is the era of
Yeah.
Tammany Hall.
This is literally the era where they're just buying votes.
Oh yeah, straight up, they're buying
Yeah.
votes. This is the era where you know the gag where they say that Democrats, when you look at the voting polls, there's a lot of people that can be found. Their addresses are in graveyards because they bring in dead folk. That fucking happened quite a bit during this era.
Oh, we can prove that?
On local elections, yeah.
Ah.
Not the party, not the Democratic. I mean, this happened for other people too.
Hmm.
Voting
But I do.
intimidation. Remember, at this point, the original incarnation of the Klan legitimately intimidated people
Oh yeah,
away from the polls. Yeah,
and
things were ugly in this
after
era.
the 1870s, that yeah, that the army wasn't there to stop him. But performance, competent. John Wilkes Booth envies you.
That's a bit of an insult because John Wilkes Booth was basically the Brad Pitt of that era.
Hmm.
He was a high-ranking celebrity. That's actually one of the reasons why the Lincolns were there at the Ford Theater in the first place, because he was a very famous performer at that time. It's why he was able to get in close and plug him.
Wait, wasn't he? But wasn't he working at that time? Like,
Yeah, he was,
oh,
but he was an actor. He
they
was an
literally,
actor.
he's like, can I get the president's autograph?
I think he might have done that. Yeah, I don't remember the actual scheme. I'd have to double
So
check
just
again.
imagine you did that. Sure, here's my pen. Gun drops out.
I think he just snuck in personally because he knew, he was a big fixture in the theater. He was able to get away with it.
Interesting.
He was
So they
also
do
part
give
of a
you.
scheme. It was supposed to also kill the vice president and the secretary of treasury.
Hmm,
It was supposed to be a triple decapitation.
why not use dynamite then?
It was supposed to be eloquent.
Eh. So other skills I like here: archery, boating, cooking, disguise, meditation, tracking.
Essentially, if you don't have skills available, these are some suggestions you can do, because the sheets are supposed to be modifiable. Basically, if you ever get a copy of a sheet from the World of Darkness, there are fill-in spots where you can put in new skills if you need them.
Let's see. Enigmas. You favor brain teasers and riddles.
So this is the replacement for computers. Originally, it was computer because remember,
Oh,
90s era, that's when computers were just starting to be a thing. So if you're ever curious on why computers are such a big deal in the World of Darkness, it's because this is the
they're new.
era where the Apple II was still produced. Admittedly, there were new models, like this is when Windows 3 was around, Windows 95 was in sight.
But the idea here, it's not just riddles, it's secrets.
Yeah, it allows you to if you want to play a Batman Chronicle, you want to have enigmas as really high if you're playing Batman or the Riddler.
And let's see. Law. You're a lawman at level 1. You're a justice of peace at 2, but you're a judge at 4.
Justice of the Peace is it's a specific title. I forget the ranking of it. It's essentially like a person who can make impromptu judgments.
Right. Occult. Which, yeah, this would be the time of the occult rising up.
Occult is one of the skills that you need for a lot of abilities
Yeah.
because it is esoteric knowledge.
Yep. Possessed by oddballs, kabbalists, epots, occultists, medicine folk, and seers.
Yes, because if you ever wanted to play a mage character like a celestial chorus guy, you could
Oh,
legitimately play a kabbalistic Jew with high occult,
yeah. Yeah,
because their
read.
paradigm
I
is
would.
the force of is that the world is governed by a divine force and it moves through everything.
Let's see. Politics. At 5, Thomas Nass would have found you an upstanding citizen.
That's a reference from an era that I have no recollection of.
That was
He's a 19th century. I think he might be a 19th century party boss.
But isn't that Boss Nass?
It is Boss Nast. I'm so stupid. Oh, he's looking it up.
Science. Some sci- I like here scientist for 4. Some critters bear your name in Latin.
Because this is the era that about a century prior, the Linnaean taxonomy was just invented. It was a 18th century discovery. Well, not discovery, but a formulation.
Then they give us our allies, kinfolk, mentor,
Backgrounds are very fun. Are very fun, not necessarily to read, but I always enjoy these.
gifts like jam gun. Um,
Yeah, gifts are, instead of discipline, Guru have gifts. These are supernatural tricks that can make things
oh, I didn't know about
nice.
this. Assimilation. The Hamid can blend into any culture, no matter how peculiar or unfamiliar the culture is. So actually, no, this would be a good Blazing Saddles reference.
Yeah,
It's like
There's a reason I said
stamp
that it should be an example, even if it's goofy.
stampeding cattle through the Vatican. He just takes out his hand. It's like, yes, it is just dust or ash from the latest cross burning.
Another really fun one is Weave of Steel, which allows you to just kind of like grab a bat and make it feel like iron. You just grab something and it immediately turns to the strength of steel.
Mati can just create I fire, air, earth, or water out of nothing.
Yeah, they can do that. Don't think about it. It requires them to use, because remember they are empowered with spirit energy. They're essentially,
Yeah.
instead of a soul, they have a spirit.
Now they can also wither a limb. Now I know it says arm or leg, but any other limbs?
Skedaddle, skadoodle, your nose is now a noodle.
The lupus. They can leap incredible distances in a
Able
single bound.
I'm glad you were gonna say that. This gift gives the cat feet, which allows you to be like cat, which I think defeats the purpose of being a guru, like a lupine.
NDR Metis can fart bricks for some reason.
Yeah, they can. On level 1, they can just pop a squat and start shitting bricks. You didn't know that?
No.
Create element. It allows you to create a small amount, so you could hypothetically just. Okay, hear me out. I have the stupidest idea ever. You're gonna build your house, and you just, as the Mati, you begin vomiting dirt, like horrific amounts of clay. You just keep burning Gnosis to vomit clay. Well, why are you doing it that way? Don't stop him. That's like, he just likes doing that. Don't.
I do like this for the Ragabash spider song. Put her ear to any telephone pole or wire and eavesdrop on any messages, even if they don't know Morse code.
I
Is that?
recall this as being an actual Ragabash gift that's been modified for
Yeah.
the era.
Oh, pretty much.
Man with no name. Hide in plain sight. You just stand there and oh god, you could literally just stand in the middle of nowhere and yeah, that's fun.
Let's see.
The gifts are always fun to read. And if you're wondering
See,
why they're so strong, again, Werewolf is a very high floor game. A normal Werewolf, just starting out, could basically wreck most other splats.
I mean, just remember though, they need spirits for this. They need gnosis. Mage doesn't need anything.
No, you still sometimes you do usually spend and you do usually burn quintessence.
Quintessence, yes, but if needed to, a mage could. I think a mage could, in fact. Well, a mage could do anything, but I think you could literally just prevent somebody from transforming into a werewolf.
Yes, you can. That is actually one
Just
of the things you can do if you have high amounts of prime and correspondence to be able to hit them.
or spirit. Basically, it's like you
Yeah,
literally
if you
just
have you
correspond
need spirit and
spirit.
you need spirit and prime. Prime allows you to alter supernaturals. Spirit because they are spirits. Werewolves are actually spirit made. They don't have a soul in the traditional sense. So you need both of
Oh,
them to. You could effectively tell them to go fuck themselves by locking them into a form. It's not
well, no,
permanent because they can
n-
spend Gnosis and Rage to fucking fight it, but you could do it. Coincidentally, a very high powered mage, if they felt like it could just shit out a mockery breed without even thinking. Oh, that's cute. You're a werewolf. Behold, pulls out a chicken, makes a chicken shifter.
behold, a werewolf.
Yeah, you can pull a Diogenes. You can pull
What
a
is a what is a
Diogenes. You pull like a
yeah?
husky out of your pocket because you have
What is
hammer
no no no
space.
no? What is a werewolf? A furred creature that is an animal. Pulls out the chicken. Behold.
Covers the chicken in fur, makes it a chicken shifter. But yeah, mages
Now,
are horseshit when you really let them get going.
okay, I'm reading through just some of this. The Bonar's stone soup, which I think was an actual. I
So
remember
stone
hearing that
soup
term
is
before.
it's an old folk tale. The concept being that this one woman was traveling around a poor village, and this is because the village was in the middle of a famine, And what she did was she suggested and provided and wanted to help them out by making stone soup. So what happened was she went to each of their house and said, "Hey, I need this recipe. Can you spare this little bit of something? I need it for the stone soup." And essentially, it was to trick them into giving a small amount of ingredients, so that eventually it turned into a potluck. The soup was made out of their ingredients. The stone was just there as an attraction. It's an old folk tale. It's a real folk
So,
tale.
yeah, in this case, you can just make it out of literal stones. Just make food.
Yeah, with nothing more than this gift, a few drops of water in a small pot can create food from even twigs and rocks. It can create an edible if rancid to the tongue gruel. So if you want to survive, oh, by the way, the difficulty depends on the objects used. 6 for twigs and deadwood, 7 for small harmless pebbles, up to 10 for cyanide and the like. So if you wanted to, if you really wanted to fuck with people, if you wanted to fuck with people as a bone gnar, you, you could just take an entire jug of arsenic and turn it into edible soup. And say, hey, look, see, you could just no sell the arsenic, start chugging. I mean, admittedly, I think you'd have to roll like a stamina check to not upchuck it. Not because it's poisonous, because this shit tastes awful. I'm just now envisioning a bone gnar a slick snake oil salesman. Doesn't that sound fun?
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why their resources are always low is because it's like Ed and Nettie. Every time they look like they're about to make the big score, that's when their totem fucks them over and they get caught for the scam and have to flee town. There you go. There's your bone gnar character idea, chat. What do you think? Radiation. Yeah, you can make it out of my favorite elephant foot soup. Just grind up some Chernobyl reactor 4 bits and put it into a soup. My favorite.
Uh, yeah, looking through these are
They're fun to
interesting,
go
but I
through in
think a
your own
lot of
spare time, but a lot
yeah,
of
I
these
think a
are
lot
already
of these
handled.
yeah. And in fact, a lot of the book I'm looking through here, it is it's pretty much just werewolf.
It is a werewolf the apocalypse in a nutshell, yeah. That
Yeah,
is
you got
one of
your
the
rights and
negatives for
everything.
it.
I'm going to try to see through because they bring up the
It's still fun
green
to talk about
zone.
since we never talked about a good version of Werewolf the Apocalypse. Apocalypse, wow. Maybe what I'm drinking actually does have liquor in it, because holy shit. Oh, here's a fun gift Tornado Rider. So here's
Oh no,
something really fun as a Wendigo you can do. This is actually one of the few reasons to play them. Carried on the wings a Thunderbird, a Wendigo may call up a tornado and then ride it safe from harm as it tears up the works of man. So you can just summon tornadoes all you want. That is fantastic. Also, rites are very important. So, unlike gifts, which are personal manifestation, rites are ceremonies where you have to have a bunch of werewolves do stuff. These things are very powerful. I think I found out where Phil Bricato's contribution came from on page 169 in the PDF, not in the PDF, but in the reader. You see the werecat. You see an actual werecat, which I think is based on. There is a Stephen King movie. I forget the name of it. I always forget the name of it because it's not very good. It's not memorable like Maximum Overdrive or Christine or The Shining. Both versions of The Shining. But the concept of it is so. Did you know that there is a unique take of vampires that Stephen King was responsible for creating?
no, I was not aware of that.
Shape-shifting cat monsters that are incestuous. Stephen King fucking wrote this for a movie.
Oh, it wasn't one of his books. It was a movie.
Yeah, it's the same reason that Maximum Overdrive is the way it is.
Max Overdrive is just awesome.
Oh yeah, he's actually in the movie. He's in all of the movies that he's responsible for at least partially making. except Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, but he actually hated working with him because of all the changes he made to the movie. He did make his own version of The Shining, but holy shit, that thing sucked.
Don't you mean the shinning?
The Shinin. All work and no play makes Homer something something.
Dull boy? Or make Homer go crazy?
Don't mind if I do! There's a lot of rights. I think we can skim those.
Go to pay the 180s. That gets us to the nature of the world, how things began.
Were the Shining Vampires youth eaters? That sounds a lot more normal when you remember he was on meth when he wrote it. He actually was not on cocaine when he wrote that one. No, the weird vampire, like he actually kicked the habit after Cujo. Actually, he kicked the cocaine before Cujo. Fun fact about that book: Stephen King, out of all the books he's talked about, the one he has talked about least is Cujo, because in his own words, I remember maybe 4 pages of it because I was that drunk when I wrote it.
Damn.
He was blackout drunk when he wrote that one. So
That is kind of funny. It's you just drink, you wake up. I have a fully made manuscript, and I have no idea.
doesn't that sound like some sort of Faustian bargain?
Yeah. Let's see. They talk about spirits, shamans, the triad.
What page are you on? Sorry, I got distracted.
203 gets us the talk of the Storm Eater.
By the way, hello there, Private Penguin. We're kind of really skimming through this one because if you have a copy of Werewolf the Apocalypse, this book kind of covers the same shit. It's a good book. It's a very useful book if you want to have players on a chronicle, but it's not exactly conducive for a stream.
Yeah. So, Storm Eater was originally imprisoned by the Gar of the Pure Lands, but when the Croatoan died, the Karens were left untended. Banes and Weaver spirits from elsewhere came in, destroying those Karens. Foreign Gar snapped those, seized the Karens, snapping the links, and this has let the Storm Eater loose. After all the time in prison, they can finally conquer Earth.
So this creature is Rita Repulsa, actually.
You know what that?
Finally, after 10,000 years, I can go fuck over Gaia. I need a bunch of Guru with attitude. Is it bad I'm just envisioning them summoning spirits to form the Megazord?
The Megazord made from an Iron Rider. We're summoning technological spirits. But let's see. Some Garu believe the Storm Eater is the avatar of the worm, the avenger of the Eater of Souls. Others believe it's a more ancient force, an enemy of Gaia from the first times.
Okay.
The first, or even the first spirit of Gaia's rage, a misbegotten child driven insane by the fury it birthed. That it dwells in the Umbra, above the court of spirits. Banes bleed dark ichor while umbral winds tear their pus-filled hides from their bones.
Okay. I think the problem is this creature does mostly nothing, or if it does, I barely remember it because it's kind of a who dat threat.
Then we have Celestines.
Oh yeah,
Spirits of,
Celestines. These are spirits of Helios, effectively.
and Luna. Well, Luna and Helios are spirits.
Yeah, I think the Celestines are Luna. Oh,
Then there's
they're
the Incarna, the ones that use as patrons.
yeah, they're going through the cosmology in this one. I usually kind of only half pay attention to this stuff.
Jaglings, servants of the Incarna. Gaffings, some of the weakest spirits.
Since you do deal with the spirit world quite a bit, these are kind of useful, but I think the core book handles this better. I've always kind of just half-assed paid attention to this whenever I read anything werewolf related. It just does not appeal to me.
They do give us rules on 220 for aging, which you're Garu, you're not aging, you're dying.
No, you can age and die. I mean, usually you die before you die of old age. It's actually considered
I
shameful
do
if you
like
do
here though
die
with
of
the
old age.
frenzy, the battle scar charts, where based on your result, um, you'll get things like superficial scars, broken jaws, gelding, missing fingers, or just brain damage.
Oh yeah, you can straight up just be rendered completely brain dead.
Worm rides. Like, you'll receive 6 or more successes on a rage roll. They are ridden by the worm and they go berserk.
They also reference delirium, which, if you're curious, since I don't know how familiar you are, what happened was, so at one point the guru had a great giga-brained idea.
Genocide
Yeah,
of humans.
yep. And they actually
And
have a
that's
table
why,
for the delirium chart.
yeah, and that's why we're afraid of wolves. Yeah, most of the time they'll just either go into like a catatonic fear, disbelief, or panic. 5% will become curious.
So my question is this? Let me take a look. The human's willpower score, 1 out of 10 does not have a 10 willpower, even the set. Of course, there's always dramatic license. May have 8 willpower. The town drunk may have 8 willpower. No, no, no. You have to have that willpower to just try to speed run any percent your kidneys. Speed run any percent your
Yeah.
kidney damage.
Oh, some groups are completely immune to it because they were spared the ravages of the Impergium, like the Native American tribes, the Aborigines of the Australia, and certain tribes in the Amazon.
Suck start a shotgun. Fuck off. I don't
Let's
believe
see.
you. Fuck your
Oh wait,
hippie bullshit.
will 9 willpower 9.
What
They
is
just become.
Teotihuacan? What is the ruins of Cahokia? What is the destruction of the mound builders? I'm sorry, but from an archaeological point of view, it makes a lot of sense that the Pure Lands were only pure because the Wendigo and Uktena, and Croatan to a lesser degree, but probably still fucking guilty of it, were continuing the Impergium. Get
I didn't hear no
fucked.
bell. I like for timbers for the willpower 10, which is 0.5%. They have no reaction.
No, no, no.
It's like,
No, no, no. It's not this no reaction. 10 is just, that's my fetish.
no, it's spoken. They just respond that this is the thing they see every sort of day. Nothing's new here.
I find it ridiculous that even half a percentage of humanity has willpower 10.
Hey, listen, I knew werewolves existed. Knew it all along. Just had a hunch.
So what you're saying is, so I ran a hunter game. This is the willpower this is the willpower value of the Bigfoot believer that believed all werewolves were Bigfoot.
Yep,
They also give you activities and what sort of things allow you for detecting the worm.
and renown.
Uh, this is supposed to give you a guideline because you're supposed to chart all this shit.
Yeah,
I'll
and
be frank,
let's.
this is partially why this is a factor in why I never really, because this is just kind of a pain in the ass. Because glory, honor, and wisdom, they're kind of important for your character and they're very valuable to have, but goddamn.
They do give more stuff going on, like combat, how different complications with it, different types of weapons,
Oh,
combat in
this
the
is actually
spirit
pissing
world.
me off. Look at how long this shit goes.
Well, it's different actions you can do. That it's the whole entire system is based on your renown, your glory, and all that. So certain actions will have certain consequences, and they went through to make sure every action you could possibly do in the Wild West was covered.
Yeah, I get it, but this is really selling me off of it, like completely killing any interest. Vampire's much quicker
That
to get into.
honestly, that part though is not for you if you're a player. This is for your
No,
this is
no, no,
for
no, no,
your
no, no,
story.
no. Your storyteller does need to know this, but you, the player, also do too, because you're charting your own shit as well. You have to chart because this stuff is you kind of have to.
Well, you see, that meant you all had to get the same book.
Oh God, I like this is one of the quickest ways to make me lose. Like I know it's not that many pages, but really, motherfucker.
So you need to know if the character was in a berserk frenzy or a fox frenzy, if they protect a helpless human, if they did not protect a helpless human. mediating a dispute unfairly, being truthful in the face of extreme adversity. These are essential parts of the game.
It is because it determines your rank in the pack and the cairn and the sept. I mean, not the pack, the sept.
Or you just throw that out and just give it as XP.
I much prefer that rather than this happy ass horse shit.
But at the end of that, look at that monster they're fighting.
An actual iron horse. Fantastic. No, it's an iron drake. Is it bad that I'm kind of having a mental image? I have a funnier, not a funnier, but a more kind of interesting mental image. Okay, hear me out. You have John Henry with his big fucking hammer, and he's taking on the steam drilling machine that's being powered by Pentex souls, or in this case, it's
Hmm.
called premium oil. I'm actually surprised they haven't talked about premium oil yet.
I have not. No, I'm looking through. I think that's in a different book.
That's interesting because Pentex was around at this time. You think they would have mentioned
Because
them a little
I'm
bit?
looking here of
They're not
in the
the
appendix.
they're not the global conquest. They're not the
Yeah,
global mega corporation of doom that it eventually
I
becomes.
think
But
I think that does come later. We do
no,
have
no, it was
here.
around in this era. It was around in the
Well, no,
1870s.
no. But I meant like there's different books. Frontier Sequence, Companions, Ghost Towns.
It's probably in Companions or something. Yeah.
But the appendix does give us rules for mockeries, or as we would know them, for Mori.
Mockeries. There are mockery breeds, so they might be mentioning them. Wasn't Pentex
Oh.
Australia? No, it wasn't. It was a Texas. It
No,
was a Texas firm.
yeah.
It was,
They give us
I believe it was, an East Texan firm.
yeah, they give us Black Spiral Dancers and the various
They do
gifts
give
they
you
would have.
weaponry. What page are you on? Apologies.
Oh, 273 now.
Okay, that's like another 30 pages. Skip. Inventions. Inventors scour the Savage West looking for investors, reach suckers, to purchase their latest strides in technology. The
Now,
storyteller has
NDR,
final say about what characters can devise. Players have to break the modern paradigm when getting into their character's imagination. Okay.
well, the way I would see that is, well, if you know what the future is going to look like, but you got to now think, what would somebody in the 1800s think the future looks like?
Which actually leads to, you ever see, there's a really fun piece of, it's like a Punch and Judy style comic where it's, there's one of those parody one shot where they make fun of something. It's one of those types of drawings. And it is a car stuck in a bog going, I am so worthless and pointless as a concept. I do not understand why I've been created. And the horse says, your time is soon over, car. The horse shall continue.
But let's see, we have here the Armbuster.
There's also a little comic that they just got to
Yeah,
go
skip
through a
it. Yeah,
comic. Sorry, I just wanted to show that off.
it's a comic.
Okay,
But
mockeries. Yep, for
from
Mori.
NDR,
Okay.
no, Timmy, you can't invent the AK-47 in 1899.
I have to actually agree with that, and here's why. The AK-47 requires specific high processing machinery that wasn't invented at this time.
Now the
Basically,
idea,
you need a specific steel. You need a specific high grade of steel to make it work.
of perhaps the man-portable Gatling gun.
Man, portable Gatling gun. I mean, if you got an aetherite, sure. The concept of making like a Maxim machine gun or like an MP-18 early, like a broom sweeper, you could probably make an automatic weapon. I don't think it'd be bullshit. The Puckle gun, for example, is an early automatic, and the Gatling gun was invented in the 1860s.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's not unreasonable. If you wanted to make here's a fun fact that people don't know about that often. Did you know electric cars were actually around in the 1890s?
Not in the same way I'm pretty sure we thought of them.
No, they were. They actually
Oh,
competed with
really?
internal combustion engines up until the 1910s. It was the discovery of leaded gasoline that made combustion engines more effective. They actually
Oh, wow.
competed with them in steam cars because, yes, there are steam powered cars. They were around until the 1920s.
The wacky races
You could
of
do that.
steam, electric, and gas.
There's a reason the Aetherites were
And
at
then
their
of course,
most powerful in this era.
wait, and then of course there's the fourth option. Souls.
Yes, you could power it on souls. Speaking of which, here's a weird interesting fact. Did you know that the diesel engine was supposed to run on peanut oil? Not petroleum, peanut oil.
Like George Washington Carver kind of peanut?
No, the kind that you fry your chicken in.
Uh, but no, I did not know that. But then that also gives me an idea. Okay, the guy who have to assassinate George Washington Carver. Peanut butter is a tool of the worm. Don't know how or why, but just the idea of that.
That's funny, but I have an even funnier idea. Okay, hear me out.
Oh wait. Who's the guy who made
Premium
the
oil.
traffic
The
light?
new premium oil, like Pentex, you hire a bunch of black spiral you are black spiral dancers who have to kill George Washington and Carver to guarantee that premium oil stock rises up so that there's no threat to their economy, so that
When
they
was
can
the
sell their oil for cars.
when was the traffic light made?
Later than you think. I think the original traffic light was actually not a flagging
Uh,
system, but like levers.
1912. At least the electric one. The first one though, 1868 in
Okay, I could believe it. That's a
outside of
little earlier
London.
than I thought. Yeah, because it would be used to monitor carriages.
Still,
Elevators are
1912.
also older than you
We
think.
gotta kill Lester Wire, which prophetic last name. But we gotta kill Lester Wire. Traffic lights are the tool of the weaver.
We have to destroy the moonlights. Before we invent it, you know how the modern street lights we have? Originally we didn't have those. I think they're called moon lamps or something, or moon towers.
Guess. Oh,
You have to destroy the moon towers. And there's not many of them left. The only ones that are really left are around Austin, Texas. They are these like
oh boy.
200-foot tall abomination structures that you have to get on a customized elevator for to change the gas lights. And either I who believes that the God particle is peanut oil and their stuff is powered by it. Angel Royal.
I'm hearing about this conspiracy to destroy traffic lights. I'll have you know, as a proud glass walker, I can't allow that to happen now.
Hey, you came in at the last minute, Biggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you were talking. Yeah, you're going against my tribe's my whole tribe's point. You know, we cannot destroy the traffic light. It's a very important invention.
Begone, Black Spiral Dancer. They're called the Iron Riders in this era.
That was always one of my favorite parts about them too. It's like in every era they just keep reinventing names.
Yeah,
Also,
I made
also,
that.
So many
I
fucking
made that
names.
joke too.
no, George Washington Carver was not killed.
He just
He
died.
died from anemia
Yeah.
after a bad flight of stairs, or fall, a bad fall down a flight of stairs in 1943.
So if you wanted to have like the Sabbat kill him for some reason, you could say a vampire sucked away all of his iron.
Buried next to Booker T. Washington.
Yeah, he wanted to die that way. Hey, but yeah, the Black Spiral Dancers. I love how they're going with the continuous decision to make Scottish people degenerate pig monsters.
Wait, they're not?
True, they are degenerate pig monsters. If you've ever seen any actual Glaswegians, there's a reason that they survive solely on fish. Also, some
Let's
hills
see.
have eyes energy, which is probably the
Oh,
inspiration.
yeah. I do like here the arm busters, because if we put up the Pinkertons, we might be legally sued.
Oh no, Arm Brewsters, they're German.
Bruce, from the Armbruster Detective Agency, owned by none other than Walter Xavier Armbruster of Amarillo, Texas.
This is a fascinating. Okay, so I
Is
get
that
to
a real?
talk. Hmm?
Was that?
It's not a real agency, it's invented, but this does lead me to something very interesting. Texas actually had a lot of Germans settled there, right? A
Oh
lot of
yeah.
48ers. Did you know that for a long period of time, areas of Texas spoke German to the point where it had its own dialect comparable to the Pennsylvania Dutch, which isn't Dutch actually. It's Pennsylvania. It's a corruption of Deutsch.
Oh, and then funny
There,
enough,
there also
there
was an
is a
area of Texas that actually spoke. There is a language, Slavic language in Germany, that is the surviving elements of a group of people called the Sorbians. It is similar to, but actually a different language to Polish. It is actually, I think, somewhat closer to Czech. You can find it in areas in Brandenburg province. And they actually settled quite a bit in Texas as well, to the point where there is actually a church dedicated to them in a town.
Also, interesting enough, though, the armbruster's wolf is an extinct species of canine endemic to North America, supposed to be the ancestor of the dire wolf.
Which means that they're actually not a species of wolf. They are a different they are a different genus.
Also saying that Carver allegedly died of natural causes.
The vampires ate
Yeah,
him. His
let's
peanut
go with
butter was
that
too
conspiracy.
delicious.
Let's go with that conspiracy.
I'm just envisioning like a vampire that was just so addicted to drinking his blood because it tasted like peanut butter fried chicken that he just kept draining him of all of his hemoglobin.
Let's see. So
his platelet counts were no.
Let's see. So Walter Xavier had already killed a dozen men before the Civil War and fought for the Confederacy because he was damned if some Yankee was going to tell him what he could or couldn't do. That there shouldn't be slaves was a given in his eyes, but that wasn't the point of the war as far as he is concerned.
That's pretty retarded because the German Texans actually were Unionists.
Ah.
That's wrong.
They're called the 40. They're called the 48ers, I want to say.
They were. A lot of them were proto-socialists.
That makes sense. But he didn't. But you see, this guy, he went full libertarian.
Well, I mean, if you're curious.
Not completely full libertarian. He didn't devote himself entirely to the worm
You're joking. No, you're joking. But the anarchist movement and community broke based on the ideas of Jan Proudhon, who was a French anarchist. The American anarchists actually believed in his concept of mutualism much more than the more communal basis of the Europeans. If you're curious on where libertarianism came from, it actually came from the split in the 1800s. So, if you want to have him as an anarchist that's going like an early, like a full ANCAP, if you wanted to make him full ANCAP, you could. Like that would not be unreasonable.
I feel like this is now the greatest way to destroy a libertarian's mind. Your entire ideology was born out of socialism.
So, I mean, most that actually know what they're talking about know that. They are aware of that. It's just what their big difference is they love the concept of property rights because they also borrowed from Georgism, from what I recall, the sweat of the labor of that you make. It's legitimately, that's one of the reasons that the split happened, was the concept of communal versus private property.
But then let's see the other group we can fight against, the Federal Marshals or the
That's
Texas
also
Rangers.
why libertarians were big fans of guns because, remember, these are the people that said you can keep your property if you could keep your property if you can defend it. So, yeah. Sorry.
Defend it.
Texas Rangers, most known nowadays for committing hate crimes against Mexicans.
Local sheriffs and posses.
Yeah, posses. So, because law was very not intact in the West, there's not really a developed legal system. Most of the time, you got a sheriff, and then you got what's called a deputy. Sometimes, though, you got to get a mob to enact town justice. That can actually be genuine justice, as you take a cattle wrangler and brand him so that, or kick him out of town or kill him. Sometimes it's just, I don't like the look of those Chinese people, so we're gonna bury them under the railroad.
And then we have animal spirits.
There's a lot of these.
Of a posse. Let's see, we've got bear, buffalo, rattlesnake, eagle, and a puma. What in the same hell is a puma?
Cougar, mountain lion. Southwestern iteration of them.
It's a red versus blue reference. Come on, man!
I don't remember much from that out of business company.
You don't chupa thingy?
No.
It's got a ring to it?
I'll be honest, red versus blue kind of filtered in and out of my head like so much bad garbage. I don't remember any of it. It's the only thing I really watched from Rooster Teeth, too.
I'll rewatch it. It's good.
Maybe.
Well, let's see. You could also fight spirits of desert winds.
Yeah. So There's a variety of desert winds. There's actual entire wind systems. The only one I'm aware of is, ever heard of a Santa Ana wind?
Nope.
It's a type of wind that blows up from the south that tends to be very dry because it comes from the arid regions. It's similar
Let's
to
see. They
how if you ever heard of a Scirocco wind, it's a hot, dry wind from the Middle East
oh
that
oh
sweeps
I've
up
probably
north.
experienced that.
Those are the ones that also usually cause sandstorms and haboobs.
Okay, hopefully I didn't experience that. Um, let's see. Vengeance spirits. The Wendigo, the Howler. Let's see. Elementals. I actually do like that they're including these spirits. I don't think we got them much in other books.
You did get some of them in Apocalypse, but I think they're expanding on ones that would have been important for this one.
Yeah, spirits of Gnosis, Englings, Epiphalings or Manitou, Wildlings, Cyclones, Weaver spirits, such as, of course, the Pattern Spiders,
I think
the
these do get mentioned. It's more for the storyteller, like it's in the
uh,
back half of the book.
ooh, I like Chaos Monitors, gigantic glass scorpions,
Yep. Here's
my
the thing: if you
Robo
try,
Scorpions,
you're saying that, but legitimately, there's a reason why you don't fuck with the Weaver.
Wire Hoppers, multi-legged Gathlings running across the wires of telephone poles, and then, of course, Banes.
Look at these creatures.
Look at them just setting up traps, hanging people.
They give you what are known as wormwinds, mind eaters. These are just a bunch of different spirits.
That's just a xenophobia virus.
Also, yes, that is a hanging.
Yep.
Skinwalkers.
Night Hunter. Oh,
Fun
actual
fact:
skinwalkers.
skinwalkers also were made into a splat, actually, for I think Chronicles though. Yeah, Rooster Teeth went out of business. They chapter 11
Years
because
ago.
they went
Yeah.
out of business a while ago.
Split up. People split up.
From what I
Doing their
understand, the
own thing now.
creatives basically were lost control over the company, and the money men that ran it into the fucking ground.
Yeah, they didn't innovate.
I mean, it also didn't
And
help that one of their few very promising projects, which I always thought was overrated. I always thought Ruby was overrated because it was just the fight
Ruby,
scenes
yeah,
that
didn't.
carried it. It was just the fight scenes, man. That's it. Wasn't that interesting? And then when the guy died, like, well, that's the point. You lost the creative drive to it. It's kind of like the equivalent of, it'd be the equivalent of, let's say, like, as Star Wars episode, when the Empire Strike Back is mostly done, George Lucas fucking died, and then they just had someone finish it. It would feel wrong, wouldn't it?
It would. Although Spielberg's Star Wars, that'd be interesting.
I mean, Spielberg in the '80s would have handled it a hell of a lot better than what the fucking sequels turned into. Fetishes,
Well,
which these are
well,
very
well,
important tools that you have as a
well. I mean,
werewolf.
there's the problem with that. When the new edition of Star Wars would come out, they would just um, replace the blasters with walkie-talkies.
Probably. I mean, it also doesn't help that Spielberg, by the time of the 2000s, lost most of his touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree,
What are you
NDR.
talking
I
about?
don't get its
Disclosure
rating.
Day was a great movie.
But moving on, we got the classic Dreamcatcher, Turtle Necklace, Clave,
Ritualistic
Rand
dagger.
Clave, Warbow. There it's Pack Totems.
Bunch of talents, totems. Basically, this is just kind of where they start throwing everything in the kitchen sink. I don't know if it's because they needed to hit a page count, or if it's just this is the appendix. This is just for like a reference guide, I think.
And
They do give you
that's
the
the end.
totems, which are very important. Because remember, your tribe or pack totem is very important. If you're a part of a
That
tribe, you have to venerate the one that they tend to worship at least somewhat, and then there's your personal one that you usually follow harder. And do not
and your
disrespect them, or they will destroy you.
Spielberg's Star Wars would just be Avatar.
Spielberg Star Wars would just be having. Maybe.
So the one thing I can say though, is the character sheet. I like the font. Like they definitely give it that flair. Like it feels like back then.
I forget the name of the specific font they're using, but it was commonly used for typewriters.
Makes sense.
That'd be why.
But yeah,
And
that
the
is
iteration they
the
give you is the 2-page. So there's different types of sheets that you can get from the books. The 2-page one is the one that was most commonly given at the end of these. There's also a 1-page There's a 1-page version of it, which is not even I use that. And then there's the 4-page one, which is if you really want to get into detail. And also one of the nice things they do, since you changed into a bunch of shapes, what they do to help you is they give you the modifiers for those forms.
and not only that, but also the images behind them,
To give you an
kind of
idea
giving
on what
you
they look like.
just a quick glance of okay, Glabro looks more human, Hispo more wolf.
And the reason their difficulty in changing shape to that is more common is I could be full of shit, but I think some of the tribes don't really have those forms, or if they. No, I'm confusing it with Forsaken because Achilli also made that one. That's just it's memories. It's memory blur. Also, if
But
you're a
yeah,
Metis, you do have a deformity.
that is the Wild West, which I
Wild
think
Wild Wiki Wild West.
at first I kind of thought it's not really fitting. Like, but given the fact that yeah, there's a vast amount of wildness, there's a sort of a vast amount of areas where you could play in. I think
I
actually
would
it might be a
say
very good way.
it is one
I
of the
think it's just thing.
more fitting time periods you could do a Werewolf
Yeah,
Chronicle.
it's fitting and also a werewolf only chronicle because it seems like as you get to the modern knights, you feel like you can include a lot more in it than just the standard or just your monster of your book.
The reason I think this works so well is because it's the encroachment of nature in an area that was mostly untouched by man. Because at the end of the day, the Native Americans as a whole tended to be Stone Age societies, just due to confluence of factors. So there was a lot of areas that were relatively untouched, especially since they were hunter-gatherers usually, or hunter-gardeners. Some were sedentary, like there were a variety of sedentary peoples. Cahokia was for a period of time a great city, but because of that, you have the encroachment of the West. That's a very good time in that. You have interplay between the tribes before they kind of hash out a sort of nation element out of it. And also, a very important thing, Pentex started as an oil company. And this is right when it started. This is before the many-headed Hydra monstrosity that's one of your big threats in the series is really a powerful issue. And on top of
And
that,
again,
it complements the setting quite well, I think.
like one of
I,
the things
Oh,
that but besides the Wild West, you set it in Chicago, Haymarket riots. You set it in New York City, and you've got the boss tweed in politics.
what are you going to say, Biggs?
I was just about to say, and just the idea too of werewolves and cowboys. That sounds pretty sick as fuck.
That has a mood. It has a strong mood. And on top of that, I think at the end of the day, this is why I'm not a huge fan of Deadlands, besides some other horrible fucking decisions that setting makes. Why have Deadlands when I can just do this?
Well, first edition Deadlands is good. The further they went along, they're like, oh, you know what? Why don't we just don't utilize the world more creatively?
I mean, here's the thing. Do I want to use demons? I got the Fallen, even though I don't really like Demon the Fallen. Ghosts? Wraith. You want undead, abominate, vampire, man. Or if you want weird spirits, change. Like, you have all of the material to just do it in this. And it's a simple system,
Uh,
too.
I may have spaced out, but how much did they go into like the whole idea of like Native Americans in this setting?
They
A
did.
bit,
They
yeah. It's
they fumbled the ball a few times, in my opinion, but that's just because I really hate the attempt to foster innocence Like, oh yeah,
I wonder,
they do it a little bit,
oh,
but they at least show respect and they actually acknowledge many of the tribes.
I wonder if they were gonna like do like a thing where it's like they were gonna release a splat book that was more Native American themed. I could see White Wolf pulling that.
There is a companion. I think that might be a companion piece because this is a major factor in why this was covered. Is because this is before the Wendigo start reluctantly playing ball with the Guru Nation. This is back when the Get still kind of had the blood of the Wendigo and Uktena on their hands because of the absolute fucking reaming they gave him.
And I do have to say, they did make a product for this. They made a poker deck with rules on how to play various types of poker and themed cards.
That's one of the
Another
best things
White
is
Wolf card game.
it's not forced. Sorry.
Another White Wolf card game to throw down the drain into the trash.
Oh yeah, because they did have a card game. It didn't really mean much.
You know what the sad thing is too? That thing's probably worth $500 now if you find a singular card.
Probably due to scalping.
But also, we're doing Victorian Mage next. No, in honor of the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, we'll be reviewing probably the most American game out there.
America Land of Monsters?
Nope.
Another Fallout book? The GURPS version?
Nope.
Now I'm drawing a blank. What?
The Price of Freedom.
Oh, God. That one's going to be a bit rough.
What's not more American than defending your homeland against godless communists?
Wolverines.
No, you don't
Like-
understand. The book's pretty rough to get through, but yeah, we could do it.
Werewolf.
Well,
I mean, to be fair, this was made. It's literally a relic at this point. If
It
this
is,
thing
but-
was an age, this thing would have grandchildren.
Are you ready to have the most Jewish stereotype to ever stereotype? Because I do remember that. It's one of the few things I
remember
remember from that book.
that's it. Yeah.
I will say this. I mean, but it's at least a positive, right?
Oh yeah, no.
Jewish
The entire thing is literally a tongue-in-cheek sort of jingoistic, just survival warfare game. It's Twilight 2000, but in the United States and against literally the godless communists.
Okay,
it's
yeah,
meant
we
to
could
be
definitely
played
do
as
that
a-
next week.
It's meant to be played as I'd say a serious joke, but it's literally the only thing I think of is the most American game I can think of.
Yeah, that works. So, yeah, next week at Price of Freedom. Oh boy, that's going to have a cost on my sanity.
Remember, everybody, God bless America.
And buy Pentex oil. Oh wait, it's called premium oil. Don't ignore me!
God bless Jesus.
Not y'all.
Night.